Well, I've no doubt you're a bit inquisitive as to see what went on the other day with the Reform Party candidates for the council elections and meeting Nigel Farage. I've met him briefly once before. Um, well, all I can say, it was a really positive day. The council candidates are a really good calibre. They're looking into local problems, which is what it's about. Nigel took time out to talk to every single one of them, and he listens to their concerns. What I saw and what I experienced was a very humble individual, bit concerned about security, you know what I mean? But nevertheless, I mean, he let me do most of the talking. And the other nice thing, which I thought was quite a nice touch, there's a few journalists waiting to talk to him. And one of them's from the BBC. He's got a microphone, the BBC, and he's well dressed, Mac on, young lad. He's got his cameraman with him. He's got more bloody cameras and shit than a Japanese tourist. And he obviously thinks he's up next because, he talked at candidates, gave a bit of a speech, talked to the candidates, shook their hands, met everyone, thanked them for their support, and sat down to do a few sound bites with journalists. But the nice thing was, I'm just stood there, like a lemon. And the guy that handled it all, Nigel, had a bit of a whisper to him, and this BBC guy thought he was up next, and the guy went, "Just a minute, June." And he actually let me sit down first. I'm there with broken phone, with cracking screen, having to say to bloke who does all his, social media and his video, and I'm going, "Look, it's a bit of a crap phone, but it's all right, I'll handle it, I'll film it for you." So then I got a sound guy to clear the background noise up, because it were a busy pub, it were full, of supporters. The other thing that was nice about it, when they went outside for a photo shoot, they went across the road to the Eric Morecambe statue. I didn't go across to that. I was talking to some councillors and getting the feedback on what's going on. And anyway, but as he stood there, people just kept coming up to him, strangers, just from the street, and shaking his hand and thanking him. And there's this woman in a wheelchair who couldn't get near, but the crowd made a bit of a gap for her so she could get up to him. And it was so humble, nice. And, it wasn't like one of these where you see Americans kissing a baby. I don't mean like that. And, they were just so glad to have the hope. And the other thing I felt that I don't see from other parties, there's a kind of energy, a positivity that something can be done. That's what I feel when I see the candidates and Nigel. And I'm sorry if you don't like me for that, but I've put a lot of effort into this for no gain. I've done 10 years of watching what's going on with politicians, and I can see the difference between a professionally managed situation like the big red bus with Boris that I got invited on. I see the difference between that and what I saw the other day with Reform, which is far more in touch with the people and interested in what the council feedback was. And, they also said Paul Nuttall is the area manager for the branches in the North West. A lot of responsibility. Every single candidate said how responsive he was, how good he was to work with. What a refreshing change. Some of them have been canvassing for 40 years, for the Tories before that, and for the Brexit Party before that. And they said with this new personnel, with Paul, the feedback, the support was completely different. Now, I know there are some people online saying a different story, but what you've got to look at, there were a lot of canvassers there yesterday. There were, not yesterday, day before. I've got mixed up with days because it's Easter. There were a lot of people there, and they were all saying the same thing. They had a buzz about them. They had a positivity about them. They also said that when they were knocking on people's doors, people were ready to receive them. They weren't getting, like you see it, people don't want the leaflets and blow them out. There were none of that. In fact, I went with one on a visit, and when we knocked at the door, this woman answered the door, and she had a dog barking, it is. And she went, "Doris, shh, shut up, Doris, be quiet." So I just said, "Oh, she's lovely because I like dogs." And she said, "Oh, it's not a she, it's a he." I thought, "Oh, no." And she said, "No, we got him just after we left the EU, we called him Boris. But after he fucked up Brexit, we decided to change his name, and we had to get one that sounded similar to Boris, so we've called him Doris, which I thought were priceless. I actually think her vote is probably safely in the bag, don't you? So this positivity is actually infectious. Nigel's full of it. His team are full of it. They're from all walks of life. And I just felt, oh God, it can be done. Because I'm a bit isolated doing what I do. You know, I'm on my own all the time here. I'm not part of a team. I don't have any admin. I don't have any tech people. Bloody obvious. And you sometimes get a bit detached. And it's really good to sometimes just connect now and then and see that, oh yeah, you are part of something. Now, I know some of you have got your favourites and this will put you off me. I'm not bothered. You have to do what's best for you. And I'm not saying what you're doing is wrong. I'm saying, don't deny me what I want to do. This is what I want to do. This is what I believe in. I'm 10 years invested in this. 10 years of giving up my free time. That's really important to me. Because 10 years of doing this and talking to people and reading documents, there's a cost to it. And the cost is neglecting something else, which is sometimes David, my dogs, and me, you know, sometimes I look round and I think, Christ, I'm still reading that document, it's 10 to 4, get your skates on. And I'm flying round with dust like a lunatic, trying to pretend I've done more cleaning than I have. So what I'm saying is, I'm just an ordinary person working my way through the mud like the rest of us. Do not deny me my right to say and think what I think and do it on my channels. And if you don't want to support that, there's plenty of other places you can go and show your support. There's no need to call me a shill. There's no need to call me the C word. And there's no need to insult me personally. Because I don't do that to you. I don't go looking on anyone else's thread on any social media platforms telling you you've got it wrong. I only ever attack public figures. And I only respond to people who come on my page. I don't go looking for trouble. And I'm more than happy with what's going on, especially at council level. This is so important. We have to, it's like unravelling a jumper. You've got to start at the bottom and get the stitches out. And that's what's happening with the council elections. I think the Tories and Labour are going to be in for a shock. I really do. And if that happens, it just makes moving forward easier. It just makes attacking what we should be attacking, which is the onslaught of a form of communism, easier. This is the window of opportunity. We have to keep it open and we have to keep it moving forward. And I think the right man is in the right place at the right time. I really do. You're allowed to disagree, but you're not allowed to insult me. If you insult me, I'll delete your comment. I'm not putting up with that. I don't say anything to you. And there's a lot of people think like me. Thousands of them out there that haven't got a clue what's going on Twitter and Facebook. A lot of them don't even do social media, which is actually astonishing. They have Facebook pages, a lot of them, but they only go on it for like social stuff, you know, clubs and family photos and things like that, which I've always suspected anyway. I mean, there are 2.7 billion people on Facebook, you know that, don't you? And it's good to see this invigorating change, because we haven't had that for ages. We had a buzz about us coming up to Brexit because there was that feeling, that hope, that possibility, and it seems to have been snatched away from us from the Tories. The Tories did it. The Tories snatched it all away from us with Theresa May, Boris Johnson. Liz didn't get a chance. Rishi just wanted out before there's any talk of war. We've had a right poor do from the Tories. And whatever Starmer is only utilising what they've set up. And we can't trust him because we know who his favourites are. Fink and Gates, he didn't you and me. So we have to keep pushing back the best way we know how. And that's talking to each other and letting people know there is an opportunity. Vote in those council elections. This is the beginning of the end. Not for us, for that silly sod in number 10.